This segment of Life in the Carolinas is brought to you by Way to Go Merchandising, delivering scalable merchandising and store setup solutions for retailers across America.
How y'all doing? I love saying that word. Gonna win a rat race I can't shake, tied to a desk job.
Well, Taylor, welcome to the Carolinas.
Thank you. It's always good to be in the Carolinas.
You know, your name, your face, your music, your movements, for heaven's sake. Well, ever since American Idol, that 5th season, what was that moment like, getting on American Idol, and then when you said, I got to do this my way?
You know, interestingly enough, my grandmother called me after I went live on the show, and she said that she couldn't really hear me all that well because her TV was a little bit older than everybody else's.
Right.
But she could see me move, and immediately, you know, it made me think of, you know, all across the country. You know, it is a singing competition, but it's also a visual medium in which you try to gain votes. So from that point forward, I was moving all over the place because sometimes, you know, TV sound systems aren't as good as others. So that kind of idea made me, you know, think about visually performing and getting out there on the stage and moving. Yeah, that was such a big season. You know, it was truly a juggernaut. You know, it was the thing to do. It was all across the country and to the world, for that matter. That, you know, the show was that big, and luckily for me at that time, it gave me the platform to still have opportunities. Now 11 years since the show, so I'm coming up on just over a decade in show business. So I'm very blessed and very thankful that I was given the opportunity first and foremost, but also that, you know, for people to kind of, you know, enjoy what I've been able to do. And I think reinvention is important, you know, whether it be a Broadway show or whether it be Las Vegas or whether it be, you know, a TV show. I think reinvention is key, but you also want to bring those people along that were there with you first.
Your fans from the beginning.
You know, I think reinvention is the key. I think, you know, giving your fans and people something that they haven't seen before, like, you know, this acoustic show or a Vegas show or State Plate, the TV show. I think reinvention, and that's not necessarily, you know, just the case for music. I think it could be the case for anything.
Our friends at INSP are very excited. I spoke to executive producer Craig Miller, and I have to tell you, he could not say enough good about you.
Well, when you get an opportunity to go around the country and try a bunch of food and you get paid for it, you know, that's something that you really got to take the bull by the horns, so to speak. And, you know, State Plate is, you know, I've obviously being a restaurateur back in Alabama and having the Saw's Barbecue brand, I was always pitching ideas, concepts to networks and TV, because TV is where I broke. Music, yes, but TV, yes, people know me more so from, I think. So we just, the stars aligned. Again, there's that alignment idea. It's just the perfect food and travel concept. We go to each state and we fill up a plate of food that is iconic to that state only. And we go to the farms, we go to the establishments. So it pulls actually from a lot of different concepts that are successful on TV. It's kind of a cross between Dirty Jobs and Diners, Drives, and Dine-Ins.
So you're getting to do this your way.
To be able to go to the cornfields in Nebraska and to be able to go to the state of Washington.
What about Colorado?
Colorado was a doozy.
Yeah.
You know, I had no idea that there was a thing called Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yes.
But, you know, as us Southern folks, if you put a little ranch on it, you might be able to handle it.
Or did you put your white barbecue sauce?
Well, if I had it, buddy, I would. But if you don't know what Rocky Mountain oysters are, Google it. One thing that's so great about State Plate is that, you know, we really uncover some of these families that have upheld some of this iconic food that we love for generations upon generations. So all of those things that we can fill a plate of food up from that state, and hopefully we'll go back to second helpings. That's kind of our goal.
California, have you done California yet?
The state of California produces more avocados than any place in the world. We had a thing called cioppino, which is kind of an Italian seafood stew.
Is that where they put a lot of pieces?
It's basically the kitchen sink.
Right.
But just an amazing dish that's indigenous to California. There's some really great stories that we've touched on over the course of the first few episodes. That there's some heartstring moments, and they're real. And that's another reason why this show is doing so well.
What are the elements to bring it all together?
Well, there's 9 crew, including myself, and it's kind of we're on the road a lot. We kind of what it kind of reminds me of. You know how there's like storm spotters?
Sure.
How the tornado chasers?
Yeah.
Where they have like 3 or 4 minivans.
Right.
And they're moving from place to place. It's very similar. Shooting the show is very similar in that aspect. We have a blast. We all get along. And now, that's another reason why that it's done so well, is because it's just the people are great.
Tell me about your appreciation for the Carolinas.
Well, I've got a lot of family and friends up here. I've spent some time in Myrtle Beach. I've spent some time in Charlotte. What's interesting is that some of my best friends growing up would have liver mush around the house. And if that's not Carolina, I don't know what is.
It is.
So I grew up on, believe it or not, I grew up on liver mush sandwiches.
Oh, how do you do them? Do you fry them with mustard? Pan fried.
So when I was a kid, my best friend was from North Carolina, and that's when we would play outside and would time come in for lunch, or we wanted a snack, we would eat liver mush.
So you're on the road a lot. Do you have much opportunity to make it by the restaurant?
There's a musical element to one of the stores, the juke joint, and I like to go in and sit in and play harmonica, and I'm always there and around, and it's something that's it's a passion.
Nice. Well, speaking of that harmonica, why don't you take us out with a little something? Taylor Hicks.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
This job I can't fake, and freedom looks like a walk along a rolling mountain stream. Seems I fall in love every day on the subway. Can't get the girl to look my way. She stares off, dreaming about.
I don't believe it. I know there's turkey legs somewhere.